What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Outside the Clutch. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We had a couple of technical issues earlier. So I want to make sure everyone can hear me nice and clear. Make sure you hear the show. Tonight's gonna be a different this is a guy that I think he's known throughout his years, but he has not freaking been put out there the way that I think he really deserves. Um, he's been in the game for about 8 years, so he's got a little bit of history. He's up there in a very secluded area. This is our way of giving some love to him. We got a lot of history with this dude, and we're probably going to bring some of that up tonight. There has been good, has been bad. There's no bad blood. This is all I promise you, all good stuff tonight. Um, while we're getting ready to get started out, hey, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to thank everyone that's coming in. Will, that's my dude. He is probably one of the hardest supporters in all of the reptile industry. I don't know if you guys are checking him out, but please take a moment, go check out Will. He's everywhere. Nixon Reptiles. What is good? How are you doing? Dude, my boy Steve. Dude, uh, he's fun. He's fun. Like, if you guys aren't checking his A Reptile I Am, if you are not checking out his lives, dude does like 2-3 lives a day on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere. Like, he's popping up everywhere. Make sure you're checking him out. He's a good dude. He's good people. I had the pleasure of meeting him at his first Arlington, and it was a great time. Chris, this dude's family. If you guys aren't subscribed to the Iron Dog Reptiles channel, make sure you go over there. Um, I have known Chris as long as I've been in this industry, and he's always been very humble, very down to earth. He just is who he is. I am who I am. I can appreciate that. I love that about him. Mario, what's up, my dude? What is up? Hilljack, man, I haven't seen you in a minute either. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you supporting Shawn. Leviathan. These guys just killed it on 15 minutes of lame. I finally listened to their full episode today. Great people, great family. I'm excited to see what they do. Obviously, I think I know why they're here. You probably know why they're here. They like the sunset. I like the sunset. I'll eventually get into the sunset someday, maybe. Maybe. Who we got? Tag. Tag, what's up, my dude? What is up? So we're gonna start getting this ball rolling as people come in. Hey, make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you show some support to Shawn. He's good people. Like I said, we've had our ups and downs. I've had my ups and downs in this industry for the last 5 years, but he's good people. I'm excited to see some knowledge come out of him. I'm excited to talk projects. Excited to get to know him. I think one of the things that we sometimes fail to do as an industry is really get to know people on a personal level, and that's what makes us either succeed in this industry or not succeed. Is you really have to be a people person in this industry, whether you want to or not. um, it's very much so important that you get to know the people behind the brand, and if you enjoy them, you choose to support them, whether it's watching a show like this or buying snakes or what be it, right? Everything that we do, we try to give back. My first sponsor is very much so about giving to USARK, about providing the proper husbandry, about just making the industry better, which is something we should all strive for. Here at Outside the Clutch, we're honored to be sponsored by VivTech. Are you ready for innovation? Tired of the same boring product that's been used for 30 years? Ready to give your reptiles and amphibians the UV they really deserve? Then look no farther than VivTech. Their 3-watt LED bulbs provide the UV rays your animals have been missing. With 3 bulbs to fit your pet's climate needs, plus a dimmable feature, it's the only bulbs we use for UV. And it's the only bulb with a 2-year warranty in the industry. Plus now you can monitor all your pet's husbandry from your phone 24/7 with their sensors, and even ship your customers' animals in their custom bags. So what are you waiting for? Go to vivtechproducts.com today, use code FCLUTCH0322 for 15% off, and provide your animals the best care they've ever had. All right, and you know I'm about that chip life. Are you ready for the best coconut substrate in the game? Then you gotta get Reptichip. First off, it's America's chip because it's veteran owned. Secondly, why wouldn't you want the best cocoa chip for your animals? Go to reptichip.com, use code FealyChippin for 10% off up to 3 breeder blocks, or your entire order of Easy Hatch trays or any Redline Science equipment on the site. Limit 1 coupon per customer. Or reach out to me as a representative in the El Paso area, and don't forget to join the Reptilution, where all profits go to helping those in need within the reptile community. And I did it again. Someone get Mickey on the line. I just messed up. Show Me Snake Shows, final sponsor. I swear. Next week we will have his commercial complete. I'm really working on that one right now. I haven't completed it, but next show we're gonna have the Show Me Snake Show commercial up and flowing. Mickey busts out about 50 shows a year. And if you know anything about promoting a show, about promoting an event, anything like that, you know how much work that takes. So my hat's off to Mickey Myers and what he does with Show Me Snake Shows. I appreciate the dude. I love everything he's doing. We will be traveling to a couple of those shows outside of our local area this year. So if you're going to Show Me Snake Shows, hey, go to my Instagram, go to my Facebook, something like that. Hit me up. Let me know what shows you're going to be at. And let's see if we can do some collabs and some stuff like that. I look forward to seeing you. Now, without further ado, I promise this man, we're going to cut it to an hour. So I'm going to get him in and we're going to get going. All right. I'm looking forward to this. I hope you are too. Little drum roll, little applause, little love for Mr. Shawn Ramos. I just messed that up. Horrible. Sorry, Shawn. Shawn Ramos of Old Troy City Reptiles.
What's going on, guys?
It's good, my dude.
Chilling. Glad to be here, finally. So, how's everyone doing?
Doing good.
All right.
See the comments, you got it set up to where you can see.
Yeah, hold on, live chat. Let me see. Boom. Crap.
All right. So
yeah, I can't see the comments, but I'm good.
Okay, if something pops up, if there's a question or anything like that, I'll pop it up on the screen, or I'll work it.
Cool. All right. Cool.
So let's jump into it. Let's get into some history of you. So, like, what made Shawn Ramos who Shawn Ramos is today?
All right. So, being in the hobby I'm in now, I wasn't always a big fan of of reptiles. It's not like I disliked them. I didn't have any passion for them. It's just growing up. I seen a snake, whatever. We played with the garden snakes, whatever. But I was like 17, 18 years old. Just where I'm from, it was kind of rough, kind of a rough neighborhood, And I grew up, family wasn't well off, but so I got into just the street stuff, being young, dumb, stupid. And I ended up doing something stupid, ended up going to prison for a while. And my wife, who was my girlfriend back then, my wife now, was stood by me, and we just got through the whole terrible 8 years of that. And then when I came home, things started falling in place. She ended up getting pregnant. We had a kid. Now this is where the reptiles started coming in. My son was young, probably 18 months old. Found the garden snake in the backyard. No one even knew we had it. Picked it up and tried chewing on it. You know how kids put stuff in their mouth. So we took it away from him, and he started screaming. So a couple weeks go by, and I take him to a pet shop, and he loved I was going to get him a fish, and he loved the reptile pot. So I ended up getting him a ball python, and a few weeks later, I got a corn snake for him. And we just I liked the ball python because it wasn't so flighty, and he if he put it down, I didn't have to chase it around. So we had that for about 6-7 months, and one of my buddies knew it, and he was like, hey, I have a big female. I didn't know how to tell the difference between a male and female. I didn't know none of that. So I ended up getting a female off him, a pretty big girl, and yeah, she just out of the blue one day, she was using a tank. I had a 40-gallon tank, and there was a clutch of eggs in there. I didn't know what to do with them, so I reached out to him, and he told me, you can leave it. It was maternal incubation that I did, and there was, I believe, 7 eggs, and 3 of the babies, 3 of them survived. It was the coolest thing in the world, and so from there, I just got an interest in it, and I started like researching more, and that's when I seen a banana, but when I seen the banana, they were super expensive, and
What was?
so
Do you remember what the price was back then?
it was for a banana. I think it was like $7,000. Yeah, and Pied balls were way out of my price back then. Because I was working in a barber shop. I had got my barber's license when I was in prison, so I came home. I was in a barber shop, and I couldn't afford that type of snake back then. So I ended up contacting a few people through some friends, and I ended up getting a pastel. And the pastel was like $2,200. But I got a pastel. I didn't know how to sex it, and that's how I learned from. I met John. I remember you've been around a while ago when I was doing educational stuff. Well, there was this old time. He had passed away, God rest his soul, but he taught me everything. He mostly dealt with venomous stuff, and he did like a lot of research in his facility. And that's how through him I met Kevin McCurley. I met some of the bigger breeders, and he showed me how to like pop a snake. But back then it wasn't really popular because it was the old timers didn't pop these like the probe. It's more accurate. So I learned how to probe, and the pastel I had was a boy. So I wanted to make more pastels. So I bought some females, breeder females, and again, it was through my buddy, and they were all ready to breed. And I started pairing up. I didn't know what I was doing, and this is the first time I had a rack. So I actually built it out of melamine, and instead of using the heat tape, I used a whole bunch of heat pads. And so. But yeah, man, it's just from there we ended up having 4 clutches. Now, again, half the babies were pastels, the other half were normals, and I didn't know what to do with them. So years ago, there was something called like kingsnakes.com, and like I think it was fauna classifieds or whatever. So I posted some stuff on there, but I went to this exotic pet shop that was local to me, about a half-hour drive, and see all the like the little pet shops around here. You would never see, like now they're called fancies and none, but you would never see that in like those pet shops. You would just see normal ball pythons. So I had these pastels, and I went to a few pet shops, and the price they wanted to give me was like just garbage. So I went to this exotic pet shop, and so I believe out of all the clutches, I think there was like 11 pastels, and it was like I think like 13 normals. And I ended up getting like a little over $6,000 for everything. I was happy. I was super happy. I'm like, wow, this was. I paid cheap money for these normals, and then I realized like I went into it in the beginning the wrong way. I went into it thinking about money. That's why I went into it thinking about money. And nowadays, if you did that, people want to bash you. Oh, you're in it just for the money. Well, there's a difference. If you don't want to do it for the business, and then you want to do it for just a hobby. In the beginning, I got it all about money, and then we started investing more money, and I started looking at it totally different now. Now I'm looking at it as like, okay, and how it started is, again, young son getting rid of certain animals he would want to hold every day. He would cry, so it's like, they're more than just breeder animals. They know to make babies and money. So from there, like I said, I always had since I ran into them and started breeding, I didn't get a passion for them. I got a passion for the breed and what I could create. And it was just amazing. So, that right there, my son, and just, being able to create these animals, and they weren't like that spectacular. They were pastels, you know what I'm saying? But it was just, every animal was unique in its own way. And I always tell people, like, a snake is patterned. It's like a fingerprint. There's never gonna be the same exact snake. They're like fingerprints. So I fell in love with that. And and then what was really big with us is educational programs. I had a connection with one of the barbers. Now, I did some birthday parties for them, and I wasn't like, I educated myself through along with what's up, buddy? My son's over here. So I educated, a few. You want to come say hi to everyone? This is the young man who's to help me started everything. He said, "What's up?" All right. Now that's how it started there, and then I lost track right there. So now that is what my passion was, like the breeding and creating cool stuff. And then the educational stuff came in, started some birthday parties, and I learned a lot of stuff from the old timer who again, he passed away, God rest his soul, was awesome, taught me everything. Wasn't like because again, there was a lot of time where people were so secretive, they wouldn't want to tell you nothing, but he just told me everything, taught me everything. And I remember we used to go up to New Hampshire like once a month, and I would go with him. And he would he was going to like meet Kevin. I didn't know who Kevin was. I didn't like I didn't know he was a big deal. And I just a guy who dressed like a rock and roll Slayer type dude, and always had his guitar near him. But awesome guy, very, very smart. So I would always ask questions, and then that's when the interest came of like doing education, because my mother-in-law and a lot of people are so afraid of these animals. So I wanted to like, just teach people about them. So it opened up a door for the people I knew. We did the Boys and Girls Club every year for like 5 years. The Boys and Girls Club, summer programs, like you drop your kids off, almost like a day camp, but it was a summer camp. You drop them off in the morning, pick them up, but they would pay me to come in and do like a 2-hour seminar. And we actually even did a couple like Christian churches, and it was crazy because people think like snakes, the devil and whatever, but it was more educational, for the kids, and they liked it. So that right there is what really, just changed my mind about like, wow, like, there's so many people interested in stuff like this, but it's the fear that stops them. So we did a lot of educational stuff. And, I went to my first expo and I seen I believe the first person that made it, was, oh man, his name's on the tip of my tongue, man. It's a shame I can't, but he produced the first Dreamsicles. And
It was
Ralph Davis, I believe it was. Was it Ralph Davis?
I want to say it was Davis.
All right, so I could be wrong. But I remember being at an expo and seeing a Dreamsicle, and I seen like a bigger one, and I seen like the lavender colors coming through. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. But I seen how much it was, and I'm like, holy crap! Like someone's gonna pay this much money for an animal, and. But then we invested into some. Now our biggest crush, like our biggest hurt to like old Troy City Reptiles, was we invested several $1,000s into 100% het pides. And I believe, this was a big thing because again, I wasn't married back then, but I had talked to Melanie, was my wife now, and I said, I want to invest in these animals, and I showed her we could make. And she's like, how are you gonna make that animal with these two? Because they were just normal, they were hets or the supposed hets, but we spent so much money on them. And I bred them 2 years back to back when they were big enough. And I got now again, I wasn't buying any more animals. I was hoping to raise these up and get my pies. Now we bred them twice, not one visual pied. I was so like just and I remember trying to find the gentleman I bought him off of. I couldn't find, he was nowhere. And eventually found out that I got scammed, but I got scammed for a lot of money. So I told myself I'm never ever gonna invest into this again because they're all thieves. That's what I thought. And then
one of the things that you found in the old days, like that happened regularly. Like people would read normals together and just say, "Oh, what's the new recessive that's hot on the market?"
Yes.
Your hats. Let me make a couple thousand off of breeding these normals real quick and just go about my day.
Yep. There was a gentleman who I think maybe like 8-9 years ago was selling these so-called hets, but they was, I believe they'd made like, I think it was like a red snake or something, supposed to make a red snake. The guy had photoshopped a picture or something, or I don't know if he did something with the animal. A few people had seen it in person, but yeah, exactly, it was like food coloring or something.
Bell with
and
yes,
and
photos. Yeah.
I believe the guy made about like $250,000, and he was selling normals. And yeah, but you know, again, up and vanished, whatever. So I was so scared to make my investment, you know, big investments. But that's how, you know, like you know, how we came about was, you know, we started. I pretty much went from like pastels to trying to jump into the pie game. Then, you know, our next big investment was, again, I didn't know if I was gonna get burnt or not, was het sunsets. Now I bought a.
How scary was that, dude?
What is it?
How scary was that? Like after getting burned on the head pies,
yes,
go after another head. How scary was that?
Yeah, very, very, very. Now at this time, I went while I was working in the barbershop. I was going to school to get my Class A driver's license. I got that, and I ended up finding a job with someone that I was a truck driver, but we were subcontractors, and we worked for the gas company. So I was making good money, and I had some money saved aside that I was like, you know, because I would breed these animals, and I was selling a lot of normals and pastels, and there was yellow bellies too. All that money I saved up, and I had a nice chunk of change. I wanted to like invest in something, and I didn't know what I was gonna invest in, and I was actually gonna get them from Ben Rennick, God rest his soul. I was gonna get, you know, from some hets from Ben Rennick. And I ended up going with someone else. Now the process of that I went through is, so I bought a 100% het male. Now the 100% het male was, I mean, you know, so I paid $7,200 for just a 100% het male. Now, what I did is, again, so the old timers taught me a lot of stuff, and they're like, you know, don't like go crazy with it. You know, it's a lot of money. So I got the het male, and I bred him. Now I had like 15 like females, but I had pastel calico. I'm trying to think what pastel calico. I had a GHI, some yellow bellies, but I bred that 100% het sunset male to like 7 females. I kept every single baby back. Now this is hard because I'm not making no money. These are holdbacks, and we got a real like boost in like producing sunsets is because I did that. Now, a lot of people don't want to take chances on, you know, producing them, or they just want to jump to, you know, making 100% hets, you know, but I went that route and it paid off. But that was so scary, invested all that money. And, you know, but so while I have that going on, I end up buying a pair, male and female of, you know, well, I bought 2 females, I'm sorry, but I bought 2 female 100% het sunsets and raised them up. So now I know they're 100% hets. I'm hoping my male's 100% het because I have all these, you know, 50% hets. But yeah, we that right there was our biggest, was, you know, it was crazy because I know a lot of people slowly work their way up. We went from producing making like lower end stuff to like trying to jump in right away to making the pies when they were really expensive, and you know, then jumping into sunset. When I got burned for the pies, I was so skeptical, but you know, I did it anyways. And yeah, but it's just, you know, it's just with the ups and downs and stuff. Now I'm at we're at a good place where, you know, I know a lot of people, and you know, I feel confident of people I buy. You know, and it's kind of sad that stuff like that happens, John. You want to know why? Because it takes like, there's a lot of new breeders coming along, and you know, when they try to sell the animals, I'm gonna look you up, and it's like, oh, well, he has this advertised, and totally blow them off because you don't want to give them a time of day because you're so afraid to get burnt. Like, you know, you just hear these horror stories, so you want to go with the bigger name breeder, which is, hey, understandable. It's a lot of money to be, you know. But it's sad because, you know, a lot of I'm not saying it happens that much anymore, but years ago, it happened a lot. You know, people would, you know, burn people. And now it's like, you know, you kind of, you know, I mean, it's just sad because even myself, I would, if I see a really nice animal at a good price and it's a head in it and I want it, but I know someone else has it and I'm, you know, I bought off them before, they're, you know, great breeders. I kind of will spend a little more money and go with them. And I don't want to give, like, I don't want to cancel my money. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And
that's fair, bro. Like everyone does that. Like we all work hard for our money, and that's a scary thing. Like everyone, whether you want to make this a hobby or an actual business, everyone drops a ridiculous amount of money into this.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
if you've already taken the chance with someone and they've proven themselves to be like righteous and do the right thing by the customer, then you tend to stick with them versus how many times am I gonna stick my neck out there and see who's not gonna take that swing. So I feel you. I think it's hard for our smaller people to do it, like myself. Like this year's gonna be very much so a test because I'm gonna be producing multi-$1,000 animals this year. It's like, well, do I have that name yet? Like, have I built enough trust in that industry? So I feel you. 100%. That's a huge goal to achieve.
Yeah, it is. You know, and a lot of people will, like, you know, I have some people reach out to me, you know, that I met at an expo years ago, and if the snakes are ready to, like, you know, breed now, and they questions, and, you know, I always try to tell them, like, because they want to go 1,000 miles an hour and they jump into it, and I don't think that's, well, for example, Miguel from Always Evolving Pythons did it, and he did it legit the way he did it. But you know, and I love what he's doing with a lot of the sunset stuff, and just, you know, the guy's producing phenomenal stuff. But when I used to watch his videos, right, and the way he would talk, in my mind, I even told my wife, I'm like, oh man, this guy is going to get a lot of heat because he was always talking about the money, and I feel him. I'm the same way. When I came in, that's what I wanted, you know. And it's not like we want to rip anybody off. It's like, you know, hey, you know, we invest into what we love to make, and it's always nice to make our money back, because, you know, I don't know many people who come into this that don't want to make this an actual business, you know, and, you know, who don't want to, like, you know, like they you know, a lot of us, this is our dream, it's our passion it's actually our dream to be able to do this full time and, you know, live comfortably off this. You know, I mean, it's very hard to do it. You know, I mean, you got to come in it with some deep pockets to be able to do that, you know. And I'm not saying, I know people who've done it and started out the way I started out, you know, just little bit building, but it took them a real long time, you know. And but yeah, it's just, I always tell, like, guys, and this is a few ladies too, like, you know, don't go crazy like that, you know. Like a few years ago, before COVID, I know people who wanted to drop their whole income tax money and go take loans, and I'm like, oh man, don't do that, man, you know. And because they wouldn't see, you're doing the work by doing your, you know, you got your podcast, and, you know, you're on social media a lot. A lot of people, like, you got to build your brand, you know, before you know, just so people could know you. And if you're doing it with the same time simultaneously, it's great. But to, you know, do you remember a few years ago when there was, like, I used to I mean, I don't get involved in the drama or nothing. I kind of just, like, watch it, read it. You know what I'm saying? Some comedy. I'll be in the bathroom taking a deuce, and I'm reading all the comments on something. So in the morning, people read their paper. I see what's going on, because there's always things going on. But yeah, so you remember, like, people always like, oh, these sticker breeders, they're coming in doing stickers. Yeah. I didn't think that was a bad thing. I thought that was a good thing, because, you know what, like, they're getting their brand out there. Like, some of these people had amazing logos and stickers, and their, like, Instagram page was legit, their Facebook page was legit, you know, with the stuff they were doing, their stickers, their t-shirts, you know, the stuff that was legit, but they weren't producing stuff yet. You know, I mean, but the way they came in, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, they're way light years ahead of me when it comes to all that stuff, because I don't really do too much. Like I got Instagram and Facebook, but I don't really do that much. I could be doing more, you know, to get my name. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, but you know, if I would have went about it to like get my name out there the right way and like pushing myself on now the social media platforms are amazing because it's free advertisement. You know, you can market yourself for free. You know, and it's awesome. Um, so I just think like the newer people, I feel bad because it's like, man, I know like they have such passion. They love as you can tell that they're super excited about it. But I know the kind of struggles they're gonna go through because it's like it doesn't now. If you especially getting hatchlings, you got to raise them up 2, 3, 4 years. So I had a female I had to raise up. She didn't give me a clutch for like I had it for like 7 years before I got a clutch from her. You know, so it's like, yeah. So it's like, you know, but the feed bill every week, you got to feed them. You know, you got to feed them, and if you're not raising your own rodents, you know, it's you know that's money you're spending. So you're gonna spend so much more money before you even make a dime, and that's one thing people like because even for myself, like I grew up watching snake bites. I love snake bites with Brian. You know, I love that, and I used to watch that faithfully all the time. And you see what he was doing, and it was so cool, man. And you know, Brian, what he did social media wise, like I don't follow too many people now. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch some videos here and there, but you know the way he transformed BHB from you know how people they used to talk stuff crap about his videos back then. They did the biting videos, and I used to laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, there's never gonna be another Brian Bocek. He literally came in and did what everyone's trying to do now. What everyone's trying to do now, he did it. You know, he was the first one, and you know, but it's awesome. This platforms we have to promote ourselves, you know, and to promote our animals, and you know, but it's such a, especially like even today as we speak, you know how like it's not the ball python market, it's just the reptile market in general has really died down a little bit, sales and all that. So you know,
well,
I do.
I'll argue that one. I'm gonna argue that one, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
feel it, but you know, it's because we've looked at like the last 3 years, right?
Yeah,
the last 3 years have been real cushioned. Like everyone has extra money. They're not traveling. They're not doing all this stuff that they usually did because of COVID times.
Yeah,
they had like a surplus of expendable money, and they were just throwing it left and right.
Yeah. Oh man,
people getting out now because now they realize, oh, I bred one season, and now I'm not able to sell because I didn't build the name, or I didn't invest in the right projects for the time.
Yeah,
I think that happens, but like. They were expecting that instant turnout, or maybe they didn't even get that breeding season in. You know, like they went 3 years and they dropped like $20,000-$30,000.
Oh yeah,
and they didn't make any money back, and they're like, "Oh crap, I don't know what I'm doing," and so they just flipped it, and got rid of it all, and got out.
Oh but yeah,
I don't think it went down, bro. I think it's people were expecting it to be something easy and something quick.
Yeah,
and that's not animals. Like any animal industry that you're in. You can't just flip like that. It takes time. And in most animals, it takes 3+ years to produce offspring.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. But the thing, like, it was like 2020, 2021. Well, 2021 was a killer year for us. Last year, sales went down a little bit. We still did good. You know what I'm saying? But I think, like, well, speaking just from us and a few other people we know, like a lot of people are afraid to invest now, you know, especially now, like they don't want to buy. And, you know, you see these videos on YouTube, oh, the market's dead, or this, you know, or the recession. It's like, you know, so that scares people, you know. Again, this happens a lot. This ain't the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, every couple of years, since I've been doing this, they always say the market's dead. I mean, it's been like that since I've, you know, man, for a long time. But you know, I think, you know, again, going back to what I was originally saying, like, you know, the newer people getting in there, you know, doing that, promoting yourself, pushing yourself, you know, building your brand, and at the same time, you can do it simultaneously, you know. Can do the snakes. I think it's the best way to do it, but it's such a like you said, it's a letdown for these people who get animals and they're not producing nothing, you know, because it takes time to raise them up. That right there, I think, you know, so you have to have like not just I mean, again, when I got into it, it was very like low end stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it was still expensive back then. And like I said, we did good with the pastels and the normals, selling for pet shops, and you know. But I say this last year, I know 7 people locally to me that all got just left. You know what I'm saying? Sold everything. And I think there is going to be a time in the next couple of years that a lot of the people are going to regret it. I just think
I'd say like in the next 2 years, bro, you're gonna see it because everyone that picked up their collections that was willing to wait it out an extra year or two is gonna turn around and be like, "Hey, I bought this collection for $10,000.
Oh yeah,
30,000 on initially, and I just made $100K off of their collection."
Yep. Yeah. I mean, again, and it's just so that right there is something that I always tell people when they get into it, start off slow, because like I said, when I had a few friends that people reach out to me, they wanted to take loans out, and they were asking me my advice. Like, I would never say to do that. That's like, I don't think that's I mean, whatever, to each his own. I don't think you should be taking loans out, spending their whole income tax money when they got other stuff to do. But they think it's gonna sell. It's again, if I had disposable income and I could do whatever, I would absolutely 100%. I would go balls to the wall. You know what I'm saying? Because I know and I wouldn't just do ball pythons.
Right.
Ball pythons is something I loved, was because there were so many color. Like, there were so many platforms you can make. Like, like the clown. When I first seen the clown, I was blown away. And then the snake that really did it for me with recessives was when the first time I seen a clown pied, blew my mind. My two favorite snakes, a clown and a pied. So getting into this now, I would, if someone's going to get into it now, I would tell them 100% hands down, go the recessive route. Recessive's always gonna, more than other thing, is gonna hold its value longer. And even just getting away from talking about just selling and making money, I think the most beautiful animals are recessive animals. Candinos, candies, toffee. Like, I just think they're amazing animals. Yeah, I just think the future of ball pythons is your doubles, but it's mostly going to be triples and quad hets. The next 10 years is what it's going to be: triple, quad hets. And can you think about it, John? How far we came, right? And just like,
Bro, we were talking about 3 codoms when I first came in. Like,
yeah,
they were happy for 3, maybe quad codoms.
Yep. Yeah. It came so far, and I could just like picture like what is when if my son takes over what we're doing when he's my age. They're gonna be working well. They get someone's gonna hit a 6 visual recessive. Like, what? No, like, you just think of that. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it's just like, I think the most I ever seen was visual wise was a quad. I think it was no, I don't even think it was a triple. It was a triple recessive, what I seen. But again, triple and quads is going to be the future of ball pythons. And I love my codoms. Don't get me wrong. I think codoms is a place for them everywhere. But I think business wise, recessives is what's going to get people. People's gonna they don't the market's there. You know what I'm saying? If someone puts up a quad het, and if I got the money and it's something I want, I'm gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a $20,000 snake. You know what I'm saying? It's just, recessives, I believe, is just, like, in back of me, this whole rack right here is probably 90% of all recessives. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some, hets and visuals.
Like, if you want to look at codoms, bro, like, looking at codoms now, you have to understand how these things interact once you get them into like multi recessives. Like, you have to further it. Like, we can't just be like, oh, I want to throw a firefly into a pied, and that's going to cut it now. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Like, you have to be like, well, I know asphalt brings out oranges, so I want a super asphalt pied. One, it's going to be ridiculous because not a lot of people work super ass.
Yep.
But on top of that, I know that's going to blow out all the oranges in that snake, and it's going to
Yeah.
still adulthood. Like,
Yep.
how these genetics work now, which is taking the game to a whole new level for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, John, right? What do you think is the next? What do you think is like the next big recessive that people are going to be? I already know right now. I believe what it is. When I tell you what it is, a few people haven't even heard of it yet. You know what I'm saying? I've heard it. I think a lot of you probably heard of it. What do you think is the next biggest recessive that is going to be? Next 3 years is going to be making. Is going to be like all the craze.
I'm biased. Like you can't ask me that because I'm biased because I'm putting Monarch into everything. So I'm
oh yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say Monarch because literally,
yeah.
if you touch anything that comes from me, it's gonna be Het Monarch. It's gonna be Monarch. Like, but I'm biased.
Yeah. Well, this is our first year. I mean, I think you have visuals, right? Monarchs. Yeah. This is gonna be our first year producing Monarchs. We have 2 females from Tom Hovland, and we just recently got a male, which came from his collection. I think he sold some of his stuff. But we bought a pastel het monarch, so just like monarchs and pastel monarchs. But again, I want to work that into some other stuff. But I think the next 3 years you're going to be hearing the zebra gene. I think like that. Like right now, I believe it's Adam Chesney. I believe is his name. Like he got a MORPHMARKET. He's like one of the only ones with visuals, and those things are insane. I know Justin has it because he mentioned he was doing a pairing with it, but I think Zebra is gonna, so again, Sunset right now is fire. A lot of people are jumping in on it because people. When the first time I seen a Sunset was Ben Rennick's had a Sunset, and I fell in love with it, and I was gonna buy heads from him. But again, like I said, I went somewhere else and I bought. I got them. But it would have been cool to get from him, man, because I would have had something from him in my collection. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, the Sunset is now people are starting to see its potential with other genes in it. Like Brock Wagner had produced a Mojave Sunset, and I think is just the Mojave Sunset. I think is absolutely crazy looking. There's so much other stuff that we haven't even put in there yet. Like I have some calico sunsets. I just want to see that the white on the side. I just want to see what it does. It probably been made before. I don't know. I just I haven't personally seen one or even a picture of it. But and then Monsoon. This is going to be again our first year to produce monsoons. From Dave Green, we got just a 1.1. Those things were another big a big dollar snake. But we got a Mojave Het Monsoon female that's right around 2,000 grams, and the male is right on 900. But he doesn't want to lock. So yeah, if he doesn't go in the next couple of months, I'm gonna use her to make some pos hets. You know what I'm saying? I think they said there's a way to tell Het Monsoons. I'm sorry, like Het Monarchs. I'm telling you, monsoons, Het Monsoons. I guess their patterns more wackier. The Mojave we got, she is whacked out. The normal we got, the het is whacked out. So I'm thinking if next couple of months, by like April, if he's not doing nothing, I'm gonna use her for something, to get some pos hets. But yeah, I really, really am a big super fan now of what the Sunset's doing, and I didn't think it was gonna these many people were gonna get into it. A lot of people changed their minds over it, because they were like, "Oh, it just browns out," But no one was thinking of
this morning. I'm not gonna lie, I still like it. I love the way it looks as a baby.
Yeah.
But there's something fighting me on the inside.
Yeah.
I can't mentally picture myself. How am I gonna make it look good as an adult?
Yeah. Well, see the pattern on it. If you look at the pattern on the Sunset, right? The pattern's incredible. But like I said, yeah. I mean, our Sunset male, still, nice colors, not as vibrant as he was when he was hatched, when we hatched him out. But I just think there's so much to do with it. And I think I always say hopefully there comes a time we find a gene that is allelic with it. It does something crazy or something. But I mean, I can always hope and dream. But like I said, I think Sunset, like I said, it's still untapped. It's been around for years, and it's still, there's still so much to do with it. And again, talking about the monarchs, I jumped into the Ultramels first. I thought they kind of looked the same until I was at the expo when I seen them side by side. I'm like, oh, there's a big difference here. So, that's when I got on the whole, like, when I want something, I can't sleep. I think about it all the time. And I'll roll over at night and I'll start looking at MORPHMARKET at, like 2 a.m, looking at MORPHMARKET. My wife will wake up. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. She's like, are you thinking about buying that goddamn snake? And I'm like,
You still got CDL. You stay up there snakes with the CDL.
Yeah, man, I do. So listen, I mean, there's, like I said, when I want something, I obsess of it. You know what I'm saying? I obsess over it so bad. And that's how the Monarch came. It was like an obsession. I seen it and I had to have it. So I bought some het females from Tom, and it's just man. I mean, that's one thing. It's like to me it's like a bad addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see it, I want it, and no matter what, I'll eventually slowly work my wife into being like, all right, let's get it. Because she's down for investing money. You know what I'm saying? She knows, like, again, we had some scary times when we bought stuff that didn't prove out, but she knows, like, she knows the business side of it, and how we, and how well, we do with certain projects, that we really push, and stuff we're passionate about, it does well. And, I just like bringing animals like that to the expos because, I remember the New Hampshire Reptile Expo. I was the first one, and I didn't think I was. There's so many breeders there that have been doing it longer than me. And, but I was the first one to bring a Sunset there. And when I brought it there, like the table was just swarmed with people. And what I'm saying? This was like 5 years. Yeah, like 5 years. Like 4 years ago.
After getting hit with those non-het pieds to actually hatch out that Sunset off the head. So
when I hatched out the Sunset, I'll be honest with you, I was very skeptical when, it was like day 58. And I'm looking at these eggs all the time. I take them in out of the incubator. I'm like, stressing over it. I'm like, usually they pip on my incubator. And usually 54, 55, they usually pipping. Now this is day 58, so I'm nervous. So I got them on day 58, and that's when I felt them. The babies were big. They were in there, and I snipped one open. When I snipped one open, the first one I snipped open, I didn't know if it was like the veins from the inside the egg. I put a small slit in. I don't know if it was like the blood or veins, but I seen red, and I opened it more. Like it was like my knees started shaking. I got wicked. Like I was like, my heart was racing. And then when I looked again, I see it was a Sunset. Like it was just amazing because for years I've been wanting to get one. Man, it was like $60,000, visual Sunsets when I was first looking at hets. I couldn't afford 60,000. I can't even afford it today, 60 grand, But it was such the stress, even though I got off of someone that people, some people, bigger breeders always, some people have bad to say about them, good to say about them. So people would say, oh, you be careful, you got it from so-and-so, he did this, did that. And I never heard nothing bad about him because I wouldn't have bought off him. But I was, for those few years that I was raising the females up, I was so nervous. But when I hit the first Sunset, man, it was like it was just a very and I know people that don't know about animals or reptiles that don't do this. They'd be like, this guy's crazy. He's talking about being excited for hatching. No, it was amazing, man. I was so excited. And what was more exciting was getting those 50% hets, those possible hets, getting some of them to prove out. And, again, that's something, that I always advocate to people. Like, man, if you want to save a little bit of money, you don't want to spend all this money because you don't have it right now, get yourself a het male, 100% het male, put that to some females and save all the females back. You know what I'm saying? It works. It really does work. And some people, a lot of people just want to go with the 100%. It's, I mean, like I said, with the het monsoon, if he doesn't do nothing, I'm going to use her for something because I know some of them babies are going to be 100% hets. And it's just, years ago, a lot of people, that's what they would do. They would buy, like with the Dreamsicle. I knew someone who was breeding, they had a Dreamsicle and they were putting it like they did it like 3 years in a row. They were putting it to, a whole bunch of females. They were getting, they was keeping them, and they were getting, 50% double hets, and some of them proved out for them. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of things are more affordable. The prices have, on certain genes that came down. But yeah, I mean, I really, really I would love to get a het, zebra, and breed that to some females, and that's how I'd get into the project. But yeah, like 50% hets. I even know people who would, I know people who would go to shows and they will look just for pos hets. That's what their goal was. I want to go to show and see if I see any. 10 years ago, I want to go to show, see if anyone has pos het clowns, and they would buy as much as they can. And it's just. A lot of people scored big, coming with pos hets. Yeah, I think it's an awesome way to get into a real expensive project. You know what I'm saying? Is 50% hets. Or getting pos hets of someone you trust. Yeah, man. Like I said, it changed the game for us with the sunset stuff. This year is going to be an awesome year because I know what females. I can't wait for they get the genetic testing for the sunsets or other stuff because the genetic testing changed the game. We're not, in a few years from now, we're not going to have to worry about buying. When we sell our animals, we advertise them. We can, advertise them and sell them, as 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like I know they have clown right now. I know they have pied. They have certain forms of albino, right? And they have candy, toffee. So I mean,
once the yellow belly complex, have almost all the albinism complexes. So, what is it? Michigan State that does, besides the labs, right?
Yeah.
Michigan State that is the school, I want to say, that does the genetic testing, and then they send the genome process.
Yeah.
The RDI. And so I know they have the yellow belly complex. I know they have albinisms, except for, I think, monarch. They're really close to pinpointing the difference between ultramel and monarch.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of the people with monarch are like 100% hets. Took forever to start sending those sheds in.
Yeah.
So a hard time genoming it. And then they said they're going to have clown by the end of this year. A couple of the
so they don't have clown yet?
No.
Oh, they don't? Okay, all right. I just know that
it has been a little bit. So
yeah.
Don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's awesome. That's a game. When I first heard of them doing that, I was like, one of my buddies told me about it. I'm like, yeah, that's bullcrap. They ain't doing that. And then when I found out, what I'm saying, that they were really doing it, and I mean that's awesome. That's a game changer right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially for a personal collection. You have a whole bunch of animals that are pos hets, and you want to see what. I mean, that's a game changer right there.
You have clown. See, I was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, see, I know they have certain. Like I said, this year, well, after this season right here that we're in right now, there's a lot of stuff I want to send in. Just to see, what pies and clowns, and to see if they're, if they're 100%. Because I'll be doing we're doing a lot of like het to het, but they're like, with clowns, but they're like, we have like multi-code het clowns, and that's something like I wish I didn't do, because I did that a few years ago, and a lot of it washed the snake out. It kind of like the snake was just like washed out.
We were creating all these multi-codoms, even if it was a recessive, and it made it to where you were creating white snakes no matter what, because you were having like 8, 9 genetics, 10 genetics, something.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, because it washed.
Yep. I think when I see animals posted and they say a hatchling, right? Someone posted up, say a 2022 hatchling, and they'll have like 7 codoms listed, and I'm like, but how do you know? Like how could we know really? You know what I'm saying? We know what the pairing was, but it's when I don't want to go any more than 4 codoms. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one, like. What I really want to hit this year is like the Pompeii. That's something we're going for. But we're doing that right there with, well, the female's a visual clown, but we're doing that with a multi-codon male. But it's just, stuff like that, stuff like Justin's done, you know, and then he didn't know what was in some animals, and he bred it the following season to find out actually what was in it. I mean, I've you know I've done multi-codon animals, and a lot of times when I do them, it just like it like blanks the canvas out, you know. But then we have some strong genes that actually, you know, okay, I don't mean to change the subject, but you know, I don't really see too many stuff done with champagne. Now, a year ago, I seen the best looking champagne I ever seen. Actually had pattern on it. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, what, and he wouldn't tell me what was in it, man. I'm like, oh, come on, what's in it? And, yeah, like I see it.
I said this, and I'm going to say it right now. I have a champagne blackhead. Champagne
yeah.
or a lilac.
Oh, yeah?
Back to champagne, but you're never creating normal.
You know what's funny about that? Because I know champagne and spider have some like little wobbles, right? But spider and blackhead's a lilac. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, yeah. I mean, that's. I wonder if. I mean, I don't know if it's been done, but you know, hidden gene Woma has that little bit of like, you know. So I wonder if you know a blackhead. I don't know. I just it makes you think when you.
Yeah, it's all the same allelic complex.
Yeah.
For some reason, blackhead, like hidden gene Woma has the wobble, but it doesn't seem to be quite as severe most of the time.
Yeah.
Blackhead, I haven't really seen any wobble, but I've heard that they can have it.
Oh yeah. So the first time I seen I love spider. Spider's one of my favorite animals. It's kind of like we have some just that are ours, you know what I'm saying, that you know I love the way they look, but to breed them, you know, consecutively every year, I don't do it anymore, because there was one season we had like 15 produced 50, which is not a lot, but 15 spiders. The following year, like say 15 or 20 more. And, you know, so I was sitting on all of them. Like, people don't want to buy them, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know why they get such a bad rap, you know? And again, you know, I've never had one that had severe corkscrewing. I never had one. That's just personally me. Have I seen some on videos? Absolutely. I've seen people on videos, but again, the videos I've seen is a lot of people dogging spider, and so they're showing the worst examples. But you know, I've hatched a lot of spiders, and I never had any that I seen do this corkscrewing type of things. Everyone I had always ate. But again, I love it, and you know, I'll keep it in my collection. Every once in a while, I'll breed something for myself. You know, I still do that. I breed for myself a lot. But when I do, that's because I want to hit a certain animal. When I hit it, I'll post it, you know, and you know, just show people what I made. But it's like, you know, that's something too, like, you know, that I am getting into more this year. Like, I'm breeding for myself more. You know what I'm saying? Right. When I would breed, I would always breed because I was thinking, okay, you know, I was always thinking, well, the last couple of years, like for say 2018 to like 2020. About good 3-4 years. Now it's about 17 to like 21. I was always thinking about business. And after doing it for a while, like I went to like where in the beginning I got into it for money. Then I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I need to know this. I enjoy doing this. Me and my son enjoy doing this. We spend all day in here feeding, writing down what we want to pair. He'd ask a lot of questions, and we'll look on MORPHMARKET, see what the animal looks like. And then, you know, then it got into like where, all right, my overhead is coming way too much. I need to think business again. And so it's like, and then what we did is we kind of scaled down. We got rid of a lot of animals, and it's not because we want to get out of it. It's just like, you know, oh, hold on, I want to breed what I like. So I kept a lot of things back and that I wanted to breed, and kept some things that I knew were going to be good to help us, you know, financially, to get us, you know, to keep us going, you know, because as much as, you know, I always say, like, you know, I need to make money through the business so it can support itself. You know, a lot of people say they don't care about the money. Listen, without the money, without selling these animals and, you know, producing amazing things, and, you know, being able to, you know, further our stuff along, you know, saying, you know, whether by new racking systems or, you know, feeders, you know, just other animals, you know, I always reinvest. I always buy, you know what I'm saying? So I buy. When I'm done using that certain animal, then I already know someone who wants that animal. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the animals I sell, I don't got to post on MORPHMARKET, you know, well, my breeders, because I know someone who's interested in it, you know. So it's like, you know, sometimes I'll do a trade with like even bigger breeders. Like, hey, I know you wanted this female. I seen a male you posted. Hey, how about you want to, so it's kind of like, that's like scaling back for us really, is something that actually, financially saved us big, because my feed bill was like $400 a week. I mean, it's and we weren't breeding our own rodents for, probably 6 years. So that's coming. No, it's just, it becomes like, like, oh man, I can't do this anymore, and to a lot of people, and I know plenty of people who, they again jump into it and they go balls deep in it, and then a year or two later they're out of it. So the advice I used to give people, I'm kind of taking that advice to my own self now, because I would give that advice to people, but I wouldn't act on it.
Like not you personally, but I just mean like whoever's giving advice is always the person that's not going to take their own advice.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm doing that now. Well, it's been the last couple of years. Like I said, breeding for myself is something this year that I'm doing. I did it before, but then it's this year I'm doing it again. So like I would say 50% of the stuff I'm breeding this year it's just for me. It's something that I want to breed. My son has a couple of projects going on that he wants to breed. He still loves albino. So, but so he ended up at 2 years ago at Expo, he got I bought for him, but he wanted a black pastel Candino. He likes black pastel and he likes albino. So there was a black pastel Candino there, and we got it. She's gonna be going. Yeah, she's being paired this year. But he does a lot of like albino, and he has a few pie projects going on. Again, albino pie. He got that. He has a pastel yellow belly pie that he's breeding to a super orange dream pie. So those are like his projects. And when we go to the expos, like I'll have a few, like say if I got 2 tables, I'll have like 2 display cases that are his, his animals that he worked on, and there was one expo that he, like his animals that he did his own projects. He sold more animals than I did. You know what I'm saying? And I let him do his own thing. I let him go up there. Like he talks to, he'll talk to the customers. Talk to the people. He knows how to, like, he'll tell them what the pairing was. He shows them the clutch card, and I mean he's it's pretty fun to watch him. What I'm saying? Come from like a small kid that was trying to eat a god.
Dude.
Yeah,
special is that, like, to watch your son.
Yeah.
You want to do.
Yep.
Grow as a family event.
Yep. I mean, he went from being that young kid trying to eat a goddess snake in the yard to now he's at the expo, and I'm watching him like, sell a snake, you know what I'm saying? And he takes he'll take the square, he'll swipe their card, and like I see him doing all that, and it's awesome because he, from a young kid, that he knew that, like, okay, it was normal to him. I say we're going to do the expo, and we make a weekend out of it. We go to the hotel, we'll do something, and we'll set up. The next day we're there, like it's and we actually got one in New Hampshire February 5th. And he was already cleaning out the display cases last week. He's cleaning them out. He wants to put new like inserts in them. Like it's funny to see how like I see like the excitement in him, and like I see the passion in him doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like he would be in here right now. He has friends over there watching UFC. But I know, I mean, he would. It's just he came. It's just funny because I see some of me in him. When it comes to doing stuff like this. And yeah, it's funny, man. I'm proud. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud because he's the next generation of of you and me. Of what we're doing. He's the next generation. So I feel a big responsibility too in making sure he learns the right way and does the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's awesome. The ball python game is really it's special, and the reptile hobby. Just me being in here has actually changed a lot of it changed a lot about me. You know what I'm saying? As a person, I mean, it just, it kind of made me, just, and I was a good father, but it just made me be able to have something to do outside of the gym with wrestling or jujitsu with my kid outside the gym. It's something that me and my kid now, like we Like, hey, he'll pick him up in school. He's like, Daddy, we're gonna go feed today and gonna clean. Like, yeah, we'll come home. He'll do his homework, and then he's sometimes will be in here with me for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Then he'll go take a shower, play video games. But it's like, and it's not something that's forced on him. You know what I'm saying? It's something that he'll be like, he'll ask me, hey, when are we gonna do this? And he wants to do it, and I just think it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I think kids coming into growing up in this. I think it's awesome that we teach them the right way. To work with these animals, the right way to present yourself and present your animals, and I think that's huge. You know what I'm saying? I think that's big, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of them. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome doing that.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome. So you've been around for a little while now. What's some changes you've seen in the industry, and some things like some techniques or thoughts of how we've done things over the years that's changed? Because you kind of went from the old generation and their style to this new generation. What's some things that you would like to see flip-flop or actually changed with what you're seeing nowadays?
Well, I would like to see I know that the community as a whole, you know what I'm saying, it was real solid, you know what I'm saying, years ago when I got in, a lot of people looked out for one another. Then there was a time where a lot of people were being secretive, and I've seen, I think that we should see, I don't want to say what I sound like an asshole. I'll skip that one. No, all right. So what I think changed. All right. I think the way we keep animals now has changed big. I know with the racking systems. Before they came out, I remember when I went to my buddy's house. Like I said, he's old school guy. He just had tanks everywhere. And then I remember, him getting these first rack systems. They didn't look like like the ones the Freedom Breeder. It was but these were all welded together. They were like welded together, and Freedom Breeder was out. I know they were out. But the way we keep animals now is different than the way I years ago when I seen how people it was mostly glass tanks. Or like the sliding glass, like the like boa files, and they were keeping stuff like that. I think the racking systems really, when they came around, really innovative stuff, because now we're able to keep so many animals in such a smaller space. But you can't do that with every species. Some species need a lot more room. But with ball pythons, how they like smaller spaces, these racking systems are amazing. Again, when I first got it, remember I was saying I had a 40-gallon tank. Because again, I don't know any better. I didn't know any better. But the way we're keeping animals now, again, how we with the with the substrate, you know what I'm saying? I think you use
Reptichip.
Use Reptichip. So, substrate like that, what I'm saying? That right there is a big game changer, especially when it comes to maternal incubation, right? They need some humidity in there. Reptichip's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I see, there's another, I forgot the guy's name. He has these liners for the tubs. They're cut to fit each tubs perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Like the 5540s or the 7030s, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's been such a,
I want to say it's Earl from CMC.
I think that's who it is. Yes. So there's a change in that. I think it's awesome. It's something that really, like I said, I would never be able to have all these animals if the racking system never came around. It really changed. It changed the game for a lot of people. Another thing is I see a lot of people now are switching diets up. I see a lot of people now. They're, I know a lot of rodent breeders, but I know people who are just breeding a lot of people feed quail, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I know people who actually breed in quail or raising quail up, you know what I'm saying? And, that's all they feed them. So, people are starting to do come to you ever see those little blocks of food that they look like a sausage? Like I
Yeah,
never like
the links.
yeah, like those right there, like stuff like that. I mean, people are actually taking taking it to a different level with like, you know, same thing with dogs and cats. You see all types of variation foods they have. Well, you know, animals now, like, you know, I mean, like ball pythons now. Like I seen a ball python eat one of those links. And my buddy who has them links, he actually makes his own links, but he uses rodents. He does, and however he blends them up, whatever. I know it's weird, sounds like animal cruelty. It's not, but he makes his own links. And it's weird, you know what I'm saying, how he makes them. But like I said, people are doing a lot more things to, like, you know, yeah, it's just like back in the day, it was mice. It wasn't even rats. I remember back in the day, it was just mice. You know, like I couldn't get rats. It was just, if you want something, you get it. And it was all frozen thought. It was like frozen mice. And then, you know, as years went on, you know, then it was, you know, people would start feeding rats. And then, you know, I remember it was a big thing. Like, oh no, it was like a few years. No, this is a long time ago. Like, I remember they were like outside pet shops. There was one out here where I live. They were like these people, animal rights people, because they sold rats in there for feeders. There was like a big I remember I was young. I was walking home from school and there was these people out there, like, 'cause they were selling rats to feed them, and they were like, you know, putting up a big protest about it. But, you know, like I said, it come a long way from feeders to the way we house our animals. You know, the platforms that we have now, like MORPHMARKET's a great tool. You know what I'm saying? When you would do stuff on, like, you know, like kingsteaks.com, whatever, it was like you're having conversations over the internet with people. You know, it's just, you know, sometimes we want animals. I know, like, a lot of times I took a ride with the guy who taught me a lot of stuff. You know, his name was this guy Paul. We would go on like a 7-hour drive, and hoping that we're going to go there. He got a pocket full of money and he's going to buy an animal. Hopefully we don't get like robbed or nothing, you know, but you have to, like, you know, that's how it was when, you know, when I would go with these guys. It was like, you know, it was, but now you're shipping animals, you know what I'm saying? And there's actually a standard to ship your animals. When they would ship animals years ago, I don't know if there was a standard like this, you know what I'm saying? I just, you know, it wasn't like you know, they would insulate the boxes, but now we could buy boxes that are actually made for the animals to ship in. They're insulated boxes, and, you know, you want to ship them in. Like, now we have, you know, I know someone was talking about it, but they're going to be having a shipping thing for reptiles. It's for reptiles and like fish, live animals, but it's going to be a climate controlled truck. You heard about that? It's going to, like, the truck or van going to be climate controlled. It's going to be set to the temperatures, like, you know, like in the winter. The trucks are going to be set to, like, I don't know, say 82 degrees in the back, so you don't got to worry about your animals or whatever. And I know they got to take flights, so the flights are different. But when they're on the ground, you know, we don't have to worry about just bringing them to the hub anymore and traveling an hour to the hub, because they can deliver right to our house. But they're going to be in, like, you know, I mean, I just think stuff like that is really, you know, it's, you know, the reptile hobby is so big, and it's, you know, such a big community that people are starting to realize, like, hey, you know, we need certain things, you know, and it's just, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. And it's growing every year. It grows. And there's so many more people that are coming into it now, you know, like, just like at the expos, sometimes you see all types of people there. That's one thing I like about the expos. There's one lady who vended the Mass Expo. She was vending. She was 72 years old. And she was selling. It was her, and I believe it was her grandson. They did awesome too. They were like 4 tables away from us. They were selling dot frogs, you know. But 72-year-old, and she's still, you know, she's taking care of the animals at home. You know what I'm saying? But amazing dot frogs. You know, you know, expos are big too, because years ago they weren't expos. You know, I used to hear from the guy that he would always tell, the guy, my mentor, that's what I call him. Like, he would always tell me stories about how he got animals, and a lot of it was illegal shit they did too, you know. But yeah, it's just, you know, I wish I can go back to those times where, like, you know, you hear about, like, the all the old timers, how they would import snakes in and find, you know, these certain genes, you know, like, just picture being the guy who like the, you know, Kevin, I think it was the first spider, or Brian with the first pinstripe. Like, you know, I mean, that right there is a game changer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know who how do you think Dave Green felt when he hatched out a monsoon? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just, and there's gonna be more genes and more stuff like that pops out. You know what I'm saying? From I don't know, down the road, there's gonna be another animal that pops out. Look what happened. 5 years ago or 6 years ago with the they were breeding. It was in the desert ghost line and the clown or something. Remember they were getting it looks like puzzle, man. What is it? Cryptic. Remember when the cryptic started popping out and it started popping out everyone's collection? I believe that was in some desert ghost animals.
Yeah. It started out in Desert Ghost, and then a lot of people had it hiding in Clown and other projects without knowing that it was in until they put them together.
Yeah. I think it's I can't wait to see the next big thing that that comes out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every like 5-10 years, something new comes out. It's just waiting to be discovered.
Okay. And I like how you said the expos, man. Like, expos are huge. I don't think enough people take full advantage of those. Like, yes, go there, see the animals, see the breeders, talk to each other. But that's your chance to get one-on-one with some people that you may never see except for twice a year.
Yeah,
so full advantage of it. Like, take that moment to really dive in to their knowledge and to really start that process of throwing your name out there and talking to them and be like, hey, I'm working this project. This is like, I'm not necessarily saying like divulge everything you're doing. I understand some people don't want to do that or aren't comfortable doing that, but like, say, hey, I've seen you work it this way. I was kind of thinking this. Have you worked that? Without like fully giving your project away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, I think expos are huge. I love expos. I love the chance to just get in front of people. I'm not gonna lie, I get like super freaking anxiety every expo.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like, that fight or flight is something that I've missed since I've gotten out of the military. And like, that's the moment where I'm just like, I'm keyed in and it seems like everything's happening at once, where I feel at home.
I think the expos are awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever we go to the expos, like I said, like you said, you don't see these people till like maybe once or twice a year. Whenever we go to the expos, like we have the certain, like we set up, we meet, like I'll just go downstairs to like, like where the restaurant is around a certain time. Cause it's every year, certain people line up there, they're old friends, and we'll grab a couple of drinks or, we'll grab something to eat. And it's just, it's fun, man. It's really fun. And then actually vending the expo, the people you meet, you know what I'm saying, from like all walks of life, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, expos are awesome, man. Expos are awesome. I have super lot of fun at the expos, man. Expos are huge. I want to start doing them more. Like, I want to travel to do some, Right now I'm just in the New England area. I really never traveled far. Like New Hampshire, the Rhode Island one, the Mass Expo. I mean, I want to, I'm only 4 or 5 hours away from New York, and I haven't even done the New York expos in New York. But now, then they have bigger expos, like Tinley and all them. But I would love to do them expos. Oh man, yeah, I can't. Expos are so much fun. I can't really see. Now you got me thinking about them. I'm thinking about next month. Yeah,
I freaking love them.
Expos are amazing.
There's one thing that you could leave, not just the watchers and the people that watch this afterwards with, but just people getting into the industry in general. Like, just one piece of advice you'd throw out there for everyone. What would that be?
All right. Breed for yourself. Breed what you like. I don't think, I think, we should all, follow our own, what we want to do. You've seen a lot of people jump on certain things, you know what I'm saying? And that's great because people are making awesome things. I would say if you knew what people getting in, take your time doing it. You don't have to necessarily go balls deep in it. Just get into it slow. This way you out. Realize you gotta have patience. So gotta raise, if you can, especially buying hatchlings, you gotta raise these animals up. So you got a couple years right there before you even stop pairing or thinking about, or trying to pair. And breed, be unique, do something that's not too many people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's you're working with ball pythons, find your own little niche. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like I said, I haven't seen a great looking, champagne until I seen that champagne at the expo, and it made me want to work with champagne. And
Right.
I'm like, but I mean, I don't know what was in it, but it was an awesome looking champagne. This When you think of certain genes, like when I think of when I think of clown, I think of Justin. It's when you think of when I think of Monarch, I think of Tom, but now I'm gonna think of you because you know what I'm saying you're big on that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you think of certain genes, you think of certain people. I want to be I want to with ball pythons. If do just be different. Just be different. Don't be afraid to be little. Okay, people are shying away from pastel. Dude, I see some amazing looking combos with pastel in it. And you take the pastel out of it, it don't look that great. Let's talk for lace, for example. Lace is an awesome combo. Pastel lace is my favorite. Well, inside lace, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, just, I would tell people, don't go too fast in it because you're going to realize you got to have patience because raising the animals up, whether it be garden snakes, corn snakes, hognose, it takes a while to get them to breeding size. And just have fun with it. And everything else everything else will fall into place. Like I said, it's patience, man. Patience is big. I know a lot of people would have had awesome, collections, awesome animals they would have produced if they just had a little more patience to hang on for another year or two. But it's just they end up, giving because they went too heavy, and now see a year and a half in, and the animals are on food. Oh my God, how come they're not eating? Well, they're ball pythons. The research beforehand, you see sometimes they go off a feed. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's a lot of other things with other like reptiles too. Maybe like with hognoses or blood pythons. I'm pretty sure there's something. I don't really breed them, so I don't really know. But I just think people coming into the reptile hobby, just find something you like, and just commit to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's fun, man. It's fun. You can learn a lot. It's a great community to be in. I would tell people to stay away from the social media drama of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff on social media that's a lot of negative stuff that I would say stay away from that. It makes good, reading material when you're on a shitter. You know what I'm saying? If you're reading it and stuff, but yeah, patience is big, man. You gotta have patience. You gotta love what you're doing too. You have to, man. I think I just lost you, man.
You hear me now?
Could you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Cool. Yep, I got you.
My bad.
All right.
If people want to get a hold of you and they want to talk Sunset with you, they want to talk your other projects, they want to just get to know you better, how do we get a hold of you?
My Instagram is mostly what I'm on a lot. You know what I'm saying? We're on MORPHMARKET, Old Troy City Reptiles. Instagram, Old Troy City Reptiles. I email oldtroycityreptiles@yahoo.com. And my Facebook is kind of a personal page, but I post a lot of stuff on there. It's BRAYDEN Shawn Ramos. That's my son's BRAYDEN, and then it's my name. So I post a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, Instagram is mostly where people want to, see. I post everything on there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Instagram, is where they can reach out and look at see what we got up there. You know what I'm saying? See what we're working with, and any questions or just a little follow would be nice,
Right. Go give this man some love. Hey, all his links are posted in the description down below, whether you're watching it now live or you're watching the replay. Make sure you go down, share some love with Shawn, check out his stuff, give him a follow, let him know you saw it on Outside the Clutch. Hope you appreciated this one. You enjoyed it. Let's give Shawn a big round of applause.
John,
love.
Thank you, brother, for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I had fun, man.
Heck yeah. I'm gonna shoot back real quick, and I'll be right back with you. I'm just gonna close it up.
All right, brother.
Y'all, I appreciate it. Freaking, I loved it. Shawn has a lot of good stuff. We didn't dive in anywhere near as deep as we could have. We just kind of skimmed the waters, which, hey, sometimes that's what you need. He's got to get to his kids, so I'm gonna get this going. I got to get to my kids. I hope y'all enjoy your time with your kids if you have them this weekend. Y'all stay blessed. We'll see you next weekend. Have a good one.